Hi, as we promised, we are going to talk about Russia in this program. And in the previous program, we have mentioned that Poland is opening its wings in the European Peninsula. And the main reason why it starts opening, one of them is it has seen that Poland cannot trust the NATO alliance, especially because of the Russian influence in the German economy, because they are providing, or they are a major provider, gas provider to Germany. And as long as Russia is providing massed gas, Germany's voice in the NATO will be always illusional. And that's why Poland has started to develop a much more close relation with the United States. The second one why also Poland has now opened or start opening its wings, because Poland has seen that Russia especially has been losing its strength. The perception of Russian power is now eroding, and there are many reasons for this. COVID-19 is not a reason for that, but it's a catalyzer that it starts expediting this process. In this program, we are going to talk why the perception of Russian power is eroding, and what will happen in coming 5 to 10 years time. So without further delay, let's start. Now, we know that after the annexation of Crimea, the European Union, including with the United States, have put embargo against the Russian companies and the Russian state. This has caused a great disturbance on the Russian economy. Meanwhile, they have started doing this. Russia starts to again project power, especially in Middle East. At first, we have seen the Russian power projection in Syria. How did they do? They start supporting the Syrian President Bashar, and then we have seen the Russian, let's say, military support in Libyan to Libyan Hafter group, which is the unofficial government that they claim they should be the real government, not the Sarraj government, which is approved by or agreed by the UN. The main reason why Russia is in the Middle East is trying to project a power with the minimum effort that they are trying to do this, and with the maximum gain they try to gain. But the problem is for the Russian government is the price of the oil. The price of the oil has fell down after the Saudi has started a great disturbance on the oil prices. They have started to put more oil into the market, and this has started the price falling down. It has fallen even to minuses in some cases, but generally it was around $20. And then they have agreed, or Russians have settled their disputes with the Saudis, and they have agreed with a price or a quotation for production purposes. That has caused an increase in the oil prices to around $30. So we can safely estimate that the oil prices will swing between $20 to $30 in 1 to 2 years' time at minimum level. Not because of the embargo or other things, but also the COVID-19. COVID-19 has caused a great disturbance in the economies that has caused also the manufacturing industry to go down. 30 to 40% of the manufacturing industry is not working properly. That means that the raw material is not needed, and once you don't have the raw material, you are not going to produce so much, because the people, they don't want to spend now. The Chinese economy fell down by 6% in the first quarter, and it's said that there will be a 3% up in the second quarter. The German economy, despite the fact that they were estimating a couple of percents coming down, it fell down almost 8 to 9%. The Americans, they were also estimating 2 to 3%, but they fell down around 6%. So all these things are suggesting that the COVID-19 has been causing a great disturbance on the economy, and therefore the oil prices are not considered to increase in the meantime. Thus causes a great disturbance in the Russian economy, because the Russian economy is dependent to oil revenues. Especially with the annexation of the Crimea and the embargo put by EU and also United States, including the COVID-19 effects, Russia has found itself in unprecedented water. Although there was a election in May in Russia, this is now going to be delayed to I think maybe a year later, let's say. Russia has come to a choices, because the perception of the Russian power cannot be now managed. Therefore, Russia has a couple of choices to make. First of all, what they are going to do with the perception of power. Can they continue to support it economically? And is there any benefits in relation to that perception of power in Middle East especially? It's definitely not. Indeed, Russia will have interest in the Middle East, but the gain that they are going to have in accordance with the time and energy that they are going to put forward will not be in the same line. Therefore, we are projecting that the Russian military support in Syria and also in Libya, meanwhile, will decrease and maybe even will come to a termination. This is due to the reason that really there is nothing that the Russian can gain from this support. When it comes to the perception of power within own land or inland, Russia has two things to do. If they are going to choose, as we are going to project, that they are going to withdraw from the Middle East, to most extent I will say, but not at all, not everything else, let's say. With these financial resources they are going to save, they can support the people through the social programs, which will come to Putin as votes in the coming elections, and we think that they will do it under the COVID-19 program, support programs. This is reasonable. The second thing that he is going to do is he is going to use the state hand or the strong hand, and he is going to manipulate the counterpart narratives through the force of the state legislations, which means like he is going to, or he will start to manage the news. He's not going to give so many narratives in the media on the behalf of the oppositions and also the American supporters, let's say, in his sayings and other things. But all these things, if you are looking not inside the force but above the force, suggests one thing: Russia is really losing power. COVID-19 is not the reason why they are losing power, but it has created a catalyzer effect on Russia to lose the power, meaning that the Russian resources will start, I will say, melt down, and thus will cause the military equipments not to be renewed. No more military equipment innovations will be done effectively. Some will be done, but most will not be done. The Russian Navy needs a renewal of the fleet. It will not be done very widely, I will say. The air fighter programs will be greatly affected. Innovations will be prolonged, or even will be I will say, terminated. So meanwhile, we will see Russia try to maintain their power through maintenance program on the military equipments that they have already in their hands. But the new innovations will be delayed greatly. And moreover, through the press, they will start to impose that or project that Russia is a great power through the perception of media or narratives, or before the eyes of the people. But in fact, If you look at in the aspect of real resources and what the capabilities with these resources and the things that he's going to do, you should be seeing that after the invasion of the Georgia and then annexation of Crimea, you see everything that those war or those annexation have not reverted the Russian power into what it was in 1970s or 80s. Meaning that all these resources, all these oils, money, turnovers haven't really created a strong Russian foothold. So while Russia is going to lose its influence, that's why in our previous project we have again foreseen that, especially in the Baltic area, and now we have started seeing Poland taking some steps in order to fill the gap. Through the pipeline project, through the land privatization program in Ukraine, and Turkey is going to fill also the gap of the Russian power in Syria and Libya. That's why in the long run, or between 5 to 10 years time, we will see Russia will lose managing its perception of power, and we will see the real power loss of Russian state. If you like this video, there's a like button underneath the screen. Please press on it. And also, if you'd like to be a member of our channel, there is a bell ring there. Please press on it, and you will hear and you will be notified with our first videos. Please stay safe at home and follow your authorities' instruction in order to protect yourself from the risks of COVID-19. Be safe and stay safe. Bye.